Hello and welcome along to another edition of Robin and Jane in the Stalls. This week is a show of epic proportions. We're talking about the 40th anniversary of Les Mis. A very special performance is taking place at the Grand Opera House here in Belfast all this week. Very special amateur production featuring some of the country's top amateur companies. We were there for the opening night last night. And the first thing you have to say, I mean, it is a show of spectacular proportions, isn't it?
It is. We certainly were there. On the way out, we bumped into a noted director of this town, and he said it's a very big beast and it's a big ask. Well, it is a big ask, but you know, the Belfast Operatic Society, although amateur, has some members that veer towards professional status. So I think they were up for it, definitely. If I was mean, and if I'm being a critic, which I guess I am being, I'd say it was curate's egg. It was good to very good in parts. I think the principals, some of them were excellent, actually. I liked Jean Valjean, David McCrossan. I thought he did a very good job, because it's a great sweep of history taken from Victor Hugo's 1862 novel, and it's got politics, it's got redemption, it's got love and loss, it's got the whole damn thing. And I thought Jean Valjean, he did remorse, he did defiance, he did humility, he did love, he did it all pretty well, actually. David McCrossan was good.
And actually the way he aged throughout it as well, they actually did that very well,
he aged very well. Now, some of the other characters, I was a bit disappointed in Fantine, our first female
because of course she has that
principal.
Big song and you're waiting to hear
she has
I Dreamed
the
a
big
Dream,
song.
But I don't know.
No, I'm not sure. It wasn't actually a Susan Boyle moment, was it?
No, it wasn't.
One thinks of Britain's Got Talent and when she sang it and how utterly thrilled and the hair stood up on the back of the neck. But I'm not sure it was a hair standing up performance this time.
The song that did stand out for me was On My Own.
I couldn't agree more. And Epinone, who was played by Caroline McMichael, was absolutely the standout star, I think. She acted well, she acted being in love with Marius, and she has to hang around because he, of course, loves Cosette, the little girl who is taken under his wing by Jean Valjean. And in that way, he achieves redemption for the crime, which was just stealing a loaf of bread initially. And he comes through. So she was excellent, and she sang On My Own, with star quality. Star quality,
but with the accent as well. She kept the Belfast accent, which actually I think worked. And helped to bring out the kind of emotions and the whole story of the song as well.
It helped to bring out the tenderness, I think.
Didn't it? Yeah.
Now, Marius, she also dies very well. There are some very good deaths in this, actually, and she died very well. It was nearly ruined by Marius, who she finally gets to hug right at the end, because he jolted her a little bit. And I thought that Aidan Halfpenny, although he was good elsewhere, he was very committed, he was good au barricade, and he was good at being in love with Cosette. But I'm not sure he was so good at her death scene.
No, you're right about that. Now, the kid, his death scene was good.
Oh, the kid's death scene was absolutely brilliant. He flopped completely, as you have to do when you're dead on stage, yes. And he was carried off. And that child, and I don't have his name actually, he was brilliant. Some of the child actors were adorably talented.
They were, and we have to mention about the size of the cast on this, that on stage as well. For any director, that has to be the biggest nightmare ever, to direct a cast like that on stage in those big, huge scenes. Sometimes it can go terribly wrong, but I think the director coped very well this time.
I think the director coped very well, and there is comedy in it, if you think it's all drama. We had a lovely scene with a whole load of lovely ladies, I believe they were called, and that meant working girls, prostitutes. So what did you make of the prostitutes, Robin?
I wouldn't have, no.
Fair enough.
And I'm sure there is a market out there.
There is a market
but
out there, definitely.
No,
I thought they were quite attractive, actually. And then there were the scenes au barricade, because this deals with the Paris uprising of 1832, and there is a revolutionary theme. I mean, it's about peasants, it's about people finding themselves, it's about people defying authority. And we had our brave soldiers with their guns on top of, quite high up actually. I wouldn't have liked to climb those particular pieces of kit and set, and firing at the opposition, you know. And I think yes, I think that worked pretty well, actually. What did you think of the battle scenes?
I was a bit disappointed in the battle scenes, I have to say, with all the moving around of the set and everything going on.
Yes.
And, I mean,
yes.
it wasn't a warhorse battle scene.
No, it certainly wasn't a warhorse battle scene. I suppose for me, it's Schoenberg's music that is the real hit of the evening.
Oh,
what do you think?
You actually forget how many hit songs is in that show. You know, from Bring Him Home to On My Own to I Dreamed a Dream to Empty Chairs and Empty Tables. You've got all those big songs.
Yes.
In it. And of course, the kind of Andrew Lloyd Webber-esque theme music going the whole way through it as well.
Oh, it is. And it often references the key tunes. And certainly I found myself humming those earworms this morning, definitely.
Now, what about the comic relief in the show, the Thénardiers?
Now, the Thénardiers were interesting. I felt that she worked and he didn't, although they were a little bit pantomime at times. And it was Jerry Arnold. She played Madame Thénardier.
Yes.
And they are the abusive, I mean, there's a Cinderella sequence.
There is, yes.
They are the abusive sort of foster parents, really, of young Cosette, and they treat her very poorly, unlike their own children. She was at times caricature, at times delightful. It has to be said, the audience took her to their heart. They absolutely
They did, and of course a lot of people will know Jordan Arnold from Q Radio as well.
Yes,
she does an
Jordan
afternoon
Arnold,
radio show. So she does. I wasn't sure about the relationship with the husband bit, because he's usually a lot more funny as a character as well.
Absolutely.
And the Belfast accents.
The Belfast accents were strong. Yes, they were vinegary, positively. But they worked, I thought. I thought, again, as you said, with On My Own being sung in a regional accent, I think that worked quite well.
Of course, the big thing to take away from this as well was the audience reaction. I mean, the audience were clapping before the show even started.
Beginning.
But I suppose that's because Les Mis is such an iconic show, such a massive show.
Les Mis is an iconic show. I mean, it's interesting. It's 40 years old. It's shown to something like 150 million people worldwide, but not me hitherto. I'm a Les Mis virgin.
Really?
I am indeed. And would I see it again? In a trice. The music engaged me. The performances, although they were some of them uneven, overall the mains did well. I would certainly see it again and enjoy singing along. And as our friend said, it is a great beast of a show, but I felt that on the whole, the Belfast Operatic Society acquitted itself pretty well.
Exactly, and we must mention the other companies involved in it as well. St Agnes's Choral Society and the Ulster Operatic Company as well. There was three. And this is kind of a genius thing that Cameron McIntosh has done, has put the show out across 11 venues across the UK, letting amateurs have their chance to do this big show.
He has. In other words, it's let the people sing. Absolutely.
That's exactly what it is. What about the length of the show as well? Because here in Belfast, we're all worried about what TransLink are going to do. They don't put enough buses and trains on late at night to get us home.
And is your taxi going to wait that extra 10 minutes? I know if they overrun.
And did your taxi wait for you?
My taxi did wait. I'm very happy to say. I think the length worked well, and that showed us that it was overall a pretty decent attempt. I didn't find myself looking at my watch, whereas I did during the gap year, as we know.
I think the pace of it, really, it's all about the writing, isn't it?
It is about the writing, and the lyrics by Herbert Krexmer, who was a Daily Mail journalist, actually, are, I think, brilliant. No, I think it flowed, and my one tiny criticism, and dare one criticise Les Mis, is that maybe the battle scenes don't entirely mesh with the personal story always. That's my only slight criticism. But otherwise, it was in places thrilling, and although the humour didn't always come off, and although the lovely ladies didn't always please, overall it was not a bad night at the theatre. Okay, well, let's give our scores then. The part of the show they're going to love or hate us this week. We've got little French flags. Oh, French flags! How perfect! Tricolore. So we have. So we'll start with you, Jane. How many French flags then? I will give them 3.5 tricolore. Okay. Well, I thought about this long and hard. It is a show of epic proportions. I was coming up with 4 little flags just because of Caroline McMichael's performance and the song On My Own. But I'm going to take it back as well. And even though it was an enjoyable night out, for me, it's 3 little French flags. Excellent. Yeah. The audience loved it. I mean, the standing ovations all around. Yes. Who are we to criticise? You know, the audience are the ones to do it. And, well, we're just Robin and Jane in the stalls, really.
Exactly. That's all we are. If you want to get in touch, if you've seen the show, let us know your thoughts, and we'll see you back in the stalls sometime soon. Thanks for watching.
Thank you.